Hello number ones and welcome to Metatron's Academy. Language SIMP just dropped this language review, Polish, 3 days ago. Let's check it out.
Just kidding. Elo wina, elo żelo i witam w mojej kuchni. Imię legalnie nadane mi na chrzcie to językowy pantofel i jestem ze Stanów Zjednoczonych Ameryki. Dzisiaj zrecenzuję język polski, otherwise formerly known as Wi-Fi password language, upgraded Russian, dancing Kowian, Bobrski, or pierogi language. This is the 12th episode of Language Review, a series where I go through the languages of the world and review them, sort of like a film critic or a video game reviewer, but for languages, specifically from the perspective of a language learner. I'll discuss who speaks them, their grammar, their difficulty, and tons of other stuff before finally giving them an official Language SIMP certified.
We are already changing here. Man, you need to bring back the purple. We need to bring back the purple, guys. Let's say it in the comments.
Rating on the SIMP scale. If you enjoyed this video, let me know in the comments which language you'd like me to review next, and without further ado, lecimy z tym koksem.
Polish? I love Poland. It's my favorite country in Eastern Europe.
Eastern Europe? Don't say that. The Poles identify way more with the West. And the center of Europe is technically way over there in Lithuania, so shut up.
Oh, sorry.
How is the center of Lithuania? The Czechs. What is Czech Republic then? Do you guys know? Let me know in the comments.
I'm American, so I don't know anything. I don't even know where I am on a map.
We live here now, on the Gulf of America. We moved. Anyway, Polish is really only spoken in Poland, which is a country located in Eastern Europe, which means learning it really only unlocks communication DLC with one group of NPCs. But this is some quality DLC. Poland is a great place. And
yeah, Polish people are great. Polish people are the best when it comes to like jokes about themselves. They're all good sports.
Went there in the winter, but aside from the sun setting at 2 p.m. and being robbed there, it was great. Just kidding, I was absolutely not robbed in Poland. Crime was eradicated there alongside communism. But seriously, I can't stress enough just how quality this DLC is. On a scale of 1 to 2,137, I rate Poland at 2,137 out of 2,137. I mean, Poland realistically shouldn't even be here. Do you know anything about their history? Everyone from every direction tried to kill them at the same time, and they and their language survived, and now Poland is the fastest growing economy in Europe. And
that is badass right there.
Honestly might be the best country I've ever visited. I'm especially fond of Polish stores. I love the Biedronka ladybug with all my heart, and I would happily die right now for a Żabka hot dog. I confidently call Poles Chads, and because of the generous aid they gave to Haiti during their revolution, the Haitians call them a whole nother endearing term that
no, what on earth?
I don't think I'm allowed to say as a colonizer. And with beautiful nature coupled with gorgeous architecture, delicious pączki, and even the best soccer player ever who is better than Messi and Ronaldo combined, Poland is sure to have something for everyone. Polish also graciously leaks into neighboring countries, most notably Lithuania, Belarus, and the Ukraine, where it is a minority language. However, Tariffland Polish mogs the rest of the world, as we have around 11 million Polish Americans, mainly in Chirac. But
11 million? What's the population of Poland? Goodness gracious, ethnic groups 98.8% Polish. Whew. Well, I mean, even Czech Republic is a bit like that. I think Central and Eastern Europe tends to be very homogeneous. Population census of 2022, it says 38 million. Man, and 11 million are in the US? Holy mother of Skyrim.
Depressingly, only north of 600,000 of them actually know how to speak Femboy Russian. So in total, about 43 million NPCs speak the language, which means learning Polish will unlock you a little bit of DLC, not much, really just one country, but it's a good one. And if you decide to learn Polish, you must first decide which variety of the language you'd like to concentrate on, as there's a huge divide between what is commonly referred to as Polska A and Polska B. Polska A, west of the European Mason-Dixon line, is home to the femboy. In this region, they speak a soft, sweet, and downright irresistible version of the language. Then Polska B, east of the European Mason-Dixon line, is home to the doomer. But thankfully, it doesn't really matter which of the two you learn, as these two groups can understand each other pretty much perfectly. And in 2025, most Polish NPCs speak in a relatively standardized way, especially the Gen Beta Poles. P-land technically still has regional dialects, dialects, as you can see on this map,
Yeah.
but they barely exist. Aside from a few exceptions, the only differences between these are the use of certain words, and that's not enough to call them dialects, so let me blast through this section real quick. There's Greater Polish, spoken by people in and around Poznan, and which has some vocab influenced by German, and it's called Greater because it's better.
That sounds accurate for the language.
Which has some vocab influenced by German, and it's called Greater because it's better than the other dialects. Then there's Lesser Polish, spoken by people in and around Krakow and Zakopane, which has some vocab influenced by Slovak, and it's called Lesser because it's less great than Greater Polish. Some people online say it sounds a bit softer, more relaxed, and more femboy-y, but I don't believe it. Because Pope John Paul II spoke this one, and he was not a femboy. Then there's Silesian, which is really a completely separate DLC language in an expansion region that's been tossed back and forth between German, Czech, and Polish control, like your mom. It's kind of controversial to call it a separate language, and Polish nationalists might not like it, but YOLO. They also have some funky letters that don't exist in regular Polish. Then there's Kashubian, which again is really not Polish. It's more like a separate, distinct language that is sadly endangered. It's the only remaining remnant of the Pomeranian language, which is really cool because these guys are really cute. And
I have one. I have a Pomeranian.
Finally, there is Masovian Polish, spoken in and around Warsaw, and this is the basis for standard Polish, and it sounds neutral. This is what you'll choose to learn if you're not a try-hard dumbass who wants to make things unnecessarily hard for yourself for no reason. Seriously, Polish is already hard enough, which we'll get into soon, so please just learn standard Polish. No one learns Polish, bro. Seriously, you don't need to learn Silesian or speak Kashubian backwards to shock natives and make friends. But if you do want to go to Poland, or any other country for that matter, you should check out the sponsor of today's video.
Cool stuff. Okay, I'm gonna skip the writing system so you guys have a reason to watch the original video if you haven't, but I do want to check pronunciation.
Honestly, I'm sorry, I've been gaslighting you for a while. The Polish writing system is insane, but it's a little easier when you start to look at words in context. Let's take the simplest word that everyone has to say all the time, hello. There is no way the word for hello could be difficult. Okay, don't panic, Randy. It's just or chest. Okay. What about a different random word? I'm literally just gonna use a random word generator on Google. Kurwa mać. Believe it or not, this is one syllable. I was gonna pronounce it out loud for you guys, but I said it once and my neighbors thought I was having—
Man, what is that? Zzzblo?
I was gonna pronounce it out loud for you guys, but I said it once and my neighbors thought I was having a seizure. They called an ambulance and now I'm 30K in American medical debt. So just listen to Google Translate. You might think, oh, language simp, you just picked the hard words. But no, the entire language looks like this. It's crazy. I could meme it and pick some absurdly long, uncommon word like this. And sure, that's funny and way too complicated, but I just don't have to look that far to find something that will outrage you. Pick any random word, like happiness. This is the word for happiness, for crying out loud. And somehow it's only 2 syllables.
Szczęście.
Oh, but maybe there's an easier synonym for happiness. Nope, never mind.
Uszczęśliwienie.
Written Polish looks like a Bitcoin wallet
moly.
address or your paranoid friend's Wi-Fi password. Honestly, I think I'd have an easier time pronouncing my Bitcoin wallet address than this language. I wouldn't be surprised if some dialects of Polish have numbers, exclamation points, and at signs in the middle of their words. I'm just gonna come out of the closet and say it. I know a lot of people are gonna hate me for this opinion, but I'd bet a whole Żabka hot dog that I'm not the only person who has this opinion. I think Polish would look a lot nicer and be more approachable for learners if it were written in another alphabet. I understand why y'all don't want Cyrillic. Even though it would be better, y'all don't want to be associated with Bulgaria. I get it. But come on, guys, at least make your own unique character system like Mandarin, or screw it, have 3 alphabets like anime language, or better yet, just don't write. But even if you get over the Polish writing system, this language is impossible to pronounce. It sounds like a honeybee buzzing out he ass, finna pollinate that shit like zzz, bzz, 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 bzz. I probably just said something in Polish, but if you
You just do bzz and you end up saying something in Polish, do you?
focus really hard, The mumbling sounds slowly turn into a beautiful, flowy rhythm. It's an acquired taste, so if you can get over the incredibly intimidating sounds, I promise you will enjoy listening to Polish. Music in the language is phenomenal. My favorite singer is Maryla Rodowicz, who is kind of like the older Mariah Carey of Poland, who only comes out during the Christmas season. But at least Polish vocab isn't too bad. For starters, let's look at how you say the word yes. No. The word for yes in Polish is no.
No way. No way is this true? Polish people? Oh yeah, no, that's not confusing at all.
That's not confusing. In general, no one outside of Poland knows how to say anything in this language. Like, if you ask someone how to say hi in French, they'll say bonjour, and everyone knows hola in Spanish, but I don't think the average foreigner could even say hi in Polish. What they can say, however, is kurwa.
True.
Somehow this word,
True.
which as a male feminist I find to be deeply disrespectful, is Poland's biggest export. Oh, and also the word bobr, which means beaver. Bobr. For some reason, Polish NPCs are obsessed with finding beavers in the wild, chasing them, and screaming expletives. It's a cultural thing, like the Second Amendment. You wouldn't understand. And Poles love when you remind them of it. And Poland's biggest import is the word XD. It comes from RuneScape and World of Warcraft culture, but I have never seen a people group spam XD as much as the Poles. In some languages,
Italians spam me too, but probably not as much as the Poles.
people laugh like ja 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 or k k k k k k,
Yeah.
but Poles laugh with lowercase xd if something is a little funny, capital XD with a few extra D's if it's really funny, and tons of big D's if they're LMFAOing or rafflecoptering. But even though Polish is a niche language, monolingual betas know more of it than they think they do. First of all, there are tons of borrowed words from American like jeans and Facebook, which are my favorites due to their wacky spelling.
I'd like to underline that jeans comes from a Genoese word because we invented it in the north of Italy.
Then there are a few words like bagel and vodka that are actually Polish in origin.
Really?
Newsflash, guys, vodka's not from Russia. It's from Poland. And if you didn't know that,
Seriously?
you were brainwashed by Russian disinformation. In general,
Hey, that's the Russian propaganda right there.
Polish vocab is very Slavic, but not always masculine. Polish words can be put in one of three different categories. They can be manly, like the word for soldier in Polish, which is wojak. I'm not even kidding, the wojak meme and the word are Polish, but it's actually pronounced wojak, which is the most alpha Slavic masculine thing I've
That does sound better. Voyak.
heard all month. Then there are neutral, non-binary, genderqueer sounding words. Like thank you is dziękuję, which is tough sounding, but the
But honestly, if you really want to use that kind of analogy, then neutral should be asexual.
nasals make it a little soy. And then there are soy boy words, like the cute little bow, which means because. And a good example of this word's use is in
Nice.
this easy Polish video that I was featured in, where I somehow pulled fluent jaw-dropping Polish out my ass. I'll put a link in the description if you're curious.
How did that
Another one of my
happen?
favorite things to say in Polish is przykład, and it's a great example of all the features you can expect from Polish vocab. 1. Brutal consonant clusters that look impossible to pronounce. 2. A pronunciation that does not at all correspond to how it's written, przykład. And 3. A ton of different forms because unfortunately the Polish language has a case system. Yep,
Oh, no.
Polish has a case system that will make you piss and sweat. Especially when you realize that there are 7 cases in total. That's 1 more than Russian, 3 more than German, and 7 more than Afrikaans to put it into perspective. Before I explain Polish
Excellent
cases, I must
perspective.
give you a little trigger warning. If you are easily upset by grammar that makes no sense or is complicated for no reason, or if you suffer from anxiety, depression, or especially schizophrenia, consider skipping to this timestamp. Also, if you don't know what cases are and you want to preserve your innocence, please skip to this part, otherwise keep watching. Nouns in Polish have 14 different forms that they can shapeshift.
Man, that is incredible. So once again, the grammar section, I'm going to leave it for the original video. He must have put a lot of work into this, so do give him the watch and the like and the comment. I am looking into the shock factor now.
Now it's time to talk about shock factor. How will native Polish speakers react to you speaking Polish
Please.
as a foreigner? Well, if you speak Polish to a Pole and you are Russian, Ukrainian, or Belarusian, they won't be shocked at all. It's easy for you, and it's not hard to guess why you learned it. But if you're from anywhere else and you walk up to a Pole and speak even
Pole.
just a little bit of
Pole.
Polish to them, they'll be very confused. They'll ask, why on earth are you learning our impossible and not very useful language? They'll be concerned for your well-being, and they might even attempt to get you involuntarily committed to the psych ward. If your mental health evaluation comes back clean and you see the person again, they won't do backflips, but they may compliment you. And if you're really lucky, they might involuntarily shit out a Biedronka gift card, but I think the devs patched that glitch in 2024. Has anyone tried it recently? But seriously, once a Pole realizes you're doing alright mentally, they'll appreciate your effort to learn their language. But remember, they're Slavs, not Brazilians, so they won't start emoting and they won't give you the deed to their house. Poles are proud of their country, culture, and language, but sadly, no one really learns Polish. When someone gets Slav-pilled, they usually always go learn Soviet language, or in niche cases, Slovenian if they're trying to riz Melania Trump. Also, Poles speak pretty decent American, but unlike Germans or IKEA employees, they aren't always going to switch to American and refuse to speak Polish in a cringe attempt to linguistically alphamog you. They're nice, and they'll give you a chance to practice. I could talk about Polish all night, but I want to go play RuneScape, so it's time to give Polish
You should play Oblivion.
official language SIMP certified rating on the SIMP scale. On a scale of dog water to Giga Chad, I placed Polish solidly in...
You're gonna put it in mid.
the alpha tier. Wi-Fi password language is extremely intimidating. It looks like what happens when your cat walks across your keyboard, or like those word scramble puzzles that you have to rearrange. But if you stop being a beta, you'll quickly realize that it's a beautiful and mostly sensical language spoken in the hood, as well as in the objectively best country in Europe. Seriously, this is some S-tier DLC. Poland is awesome. The Polish language is super memeable, and I highly recommend that you learn it. The pronunciation and especially the grammar make Polish very difficult to get into, and even more difficult to master, but the grind will be worth it. Poles are nice, and women love a guy who speaks Polish.
Hey,
if you enjoyed this video...
That's always a great reason to do it. Very nice video. Very cool. I wonder what the next language is going to be. What do you guys think? Let me know your projections in the comments below. Thank you very much for joining Metatron's Academy. See you tomorrow or whenever. See you.